Devastation in Arad from Iranian missile attack.
Rescue forces arrive at Arad impact site.
An Iranian missile strikes in Arad.
The city in the south of Israel suffered a direct hit from an Iranian ballistic missile.
115 people wounded.
Hospital officials said 31 patients were admitted, among them 18 children.
The missile reportedly struck near large residential buildings.
The police described the event as a very big miracle.
In this war, Israel and the United States have not simply been responding to Iran. They've been dismantling layer by layer Iran's ability to wage a missile war. That is the real story of this campaign. Not just another sortie, not just another strike, not just another headline out of Tehran or Washington, but a sustained military effort designed to break what the Iranian regime spent years building. A system based on launch capability, intimidation, attrition, and the attempt to break a civilian population through constant heavy fire. That is the true meaning of the last several days. Every launcher destroyed, every launch cell hit, every command structure torn apart is not only connected to what Iran did yesterday, it's connected to what Iran planned to do tomorrow. This war is not measured only by the targets being hit inside Iran, but also by the missiles that never launched, the barrages that never came, and the attacks that never reached Israeli cities. I'm Mati Shoshani, and today we're here in Arad, where you can see with your own eyes why this campaign matters so much. Because here, between shattered buildings, blown out windows, and collapsed walls, you understand that the story of Arad is not a story of Israeli weakness. It is the story of the price Israel is trying to prevent every single night. It is the story of what happens when, out of an entire campaign in which the vast majority of threats are identified, disrupted, or intercepted, one missile still manages to get through. Here in Arad, a heavy Iranian ballistic missile struck between residential buildings and created one of the hardest civilian impact scenes we've seen in recent days. More than 100 people were injured in the attack on Arad and Dimona. And in Arad itself, dozens were hurt, including children, some of them seriously. According to reports from the scene, the missile didn't go directly into one of the buildings, and that is likely one of the reasons this disaster was not substantially worse. But the blast wave was enormous. Walls collapsed, windows were wiped out, apartments were opened up to the street. Entire families were forced out of their homes in an instant. Look behind me, look around me, you will see the extent of this damage. It's a miracle that the casualty count here wasn't in the dozens. That's exactly the moment when you need to understand what you are really looking at. Not just an impact point, not just a crater between buildings, but a deliberate Iranian attempt to hit civilians, to spread panic, to overload emergency services, and to prove that even one missile can turn a neighborhood into a war zone. This is also the moment to say the full truth. Arad doesn't contradict the success of this campaign. Arad explains why this campaign has to continue. Because if this is what one missile can do, then everything Israel and the United States are doing right now to reduce Iran's missile stockpiles, launcher capability, and command structure is not theoretical. It is what helps prevent the next event like this. The IDF has made clear throughout these past days that Israel's defense systems are active, that alerts are sent directly to phones in relevant areas, and that following home front command instructions saves lives. Again and again, the message has been simple. When the warning comes, get to a protected space and stay there until you are told otherwise. And here in Arad, inside this destruction area, you can understand something else about this war. The battle against Iran does not end when a missile leaves the launcher, and it does not end when it is intercepted, or even, God forbid, when it lands. Because in the seconds after impact, a second battle begins, the battle for life. These are the moments when the IDF is not seen only as force striking deep inside Iran or intercepting threats in Israeli skies. It is also the force that arrives first at the scene, walks into the dust, into the fire, broken concrete, and panic, and starts working. The Home Front Command was built for exactly these moments. Its mission is simple: to save lives. And that is what makes this scene bigger than the strike itself. Because behind every torn open building, there's also a unit being deployed, reservists being called in again, a rescue force finishing in one location and already knowing that the next site may be only minutes away. This is why the Israeli home front is a front line in every sense of the word. And this is exactly where our partners come into the story, not from the outside, but from within it. Because if the IDF is required not only to fight far away, but also to be the first on the scene after every strike, to rescue, to evacuate, to support, and keep those units fully operational, then someone also has to make sure they have that support behind them. And right now, Israel is facing a critical moment. As we speak, the IDF has launched Operation Roaring Lion, the largest air mission in Israel's history. More than 80,000 additional reservists have been called up, joining tens of thousands already serving to defend the people of Israel. These are fathers and mothers, business owners, students, and young families who have left everything behind to stand on the front lines. But while they're protecting the nation, many of their families are facing real financial hardship back at home. That's why Friends of the IDF is stepping in, providing vital medical support, financial relief for reservist families, support for critical units like the Israeli Air Force and the Home Front Command, and emotional and mental health support for the soldiers. And if you'd like to stand with Israel, guys, you should stand with Israel at this crucial time. I want to personally invite you to take part. You can support Israel's soldiers today by going to fidf.org/Yair. That's my colleague Yair Pinto, who's on vacation today. fidf.org/Yair. Again, that's fidf.org/Yair. Now, 100% of the donation from this campaign will go directly to Israel to support the brave men and women defending this nation. Thank you for standing with Israel, and may God bless you and your families. That's not a side issue in this war. It's part of the heart of it, because when we talk about the IDF in these days, we're not talking only about aircraft in the air or a strike deep inside Iran. We're talking about the soldiers and the units that have to be there 1 minute after impact. We're talking about the Home Front Command, the rescue brigades, the reservist units, and a military system that has to remain stronger than ever under relentless pressure and constant war. That's why, when you stand here in Arad, you understand that the question is not only how Iran managed to fire this missile, the question is how Israel makes sure its forces remain ready, remain equipped, and backed up for this strike and for the next one that may come after it. That's the real story of today. The story is not just a missile hit Arad. The story is what a modern war looks like when one country is forced to fight on 3 fronts at the same time, deep inside enemy territory, in the skies above its own land, and in the streets of its own cities. On one side, Israel is striking the source of the threat. On the other side, it is operating layer upon layer of defense to intercept incoming fire. And at the same time, it's maintaining forces that can arrive first at every civilian impact site to save lives, to stabilize the chaos, and allow the country to keep standing. That's true here in Arad, just as it's true when you look back at what happened in Bet Shemesh. There too, an Iranian missile hit a residential area, killing civilians and wounding many others. In both cases, the Iranian message was the same: target civilians, create fear, and try to produce the image that will break Israeli morale. But again and again, that calculation fails. It fails because Israeli society doesn't break easily. It also fails because Israel's defense systems continue to operate with tremendous strength. And it fails because alongside every civilian strike, Israel continues hitting the other side of the equation, the places where these missiles are built, stored, directed, and launched. And that may be the most important thing to say to our viewers today. When you look at Arad, don't look only at what hit. Look also at what was prevented. When you see the damage, understand how much worse this could have been if Israel had not been operating deep inside enemy territory, and if its defense systems had not continued identifying targets, sending warnings, and intercepting the overwhelming majority of them. And when you see these pictures from the ground, remember this: they're not proof that Iran is strong. They are proof that even when Iran manages to land a blow, it still can't break Israel. On this operation, Operation Roaring Lion, the picture is clearer than ever. Iran is still dangerous, but its capabilities are being eroded. It is still firing, but with less freedom than ever before. It's still threatening, but under heavier military, strategic, and economic pressure. And Israel, together with the United States, continues doing what is necessary so that this threat keeps shrinking. Not only in the headlines, but in the number of launchers, in the number of barrages, and in the number of disasters that can still be prevented. I'm Mati Shoshani, and here in Arad, you can see all of that with complete clarity. You can see what Iran is trying to do, you can see who it is aiming at, and you can also see why Israel can't afford to stop before this threat is truly, completely broken. So if you stand with Israel, keep following us, keep sharing the truth, hit subscribe, hit like, and stand also with the people defending this country, not only in words, but in action, with the soldiers, with the units, with the reservists, with the defense systems, and with everyone making sure that even after a night like this, the state of Israel keeps standing. Guys, as we wrap this up, let's pray together. I want to ask you, if you're not doing this yet on a regular basis, to pray for the people of Israel. Pray for the supernatural protection of this country, as we've seen here in Arad, where the missile barely misses an entire city block of houses full of families on the weekend. Pray for our soldiers, both the men and women in arms and in uniform, the Israeli ones, the American ones, fighting this just war, and pray for the people of Iran to have a swift and effective replace of regime. Once again, I'm Mati Shoshani from here in the field, where we've seen firsthand the damage. We've seen that the mission is clear and that Israel keeps fighting forward. Hello, this is Mati here in Jerusalem with TBN Israel.
This is Yair Pinto from TBN Israel here in Jerusalem. TBN Israel is keeping viewers informed with Israel-focused news, culture, and what God is doing in this land.
Support TBN Israel today online at tbn.org/Israel. Thank you.